What is rolling? You are tuning in for a brand new What's in the Box video here on the Car Boot Collectors YouTube channel. And this is an old school What's in the Box. This is a box literally as I purchased it. I haven't sorted through it yet. I haven't looked at it. I bought this stuff today. And it's all Star Wars stuff, as you can see, 100% Star Wars goodness. Although I think there is a couple of stray Star Trek bits in here as well, but it's more or less all Star Wars stuff. Yeah, I haven't looked in it yet. I haven't sorted. I haven't done anything with it. This is just fresh out of the car here in front of the camera. I bought it like an hour ago. Yeah, this is like a word of mouth transaction. A friend of mine, Big Mike, big up Big Mike, said the sandwich van lady at his work was selling some of her children's toys, and in amongst them was this box of Star Wars stuff. So fast forward a few weeks and here we are. It's purchased, details exchanged, photos exchanged, and finally agreed, and we purchased it. So yeah, a whole box of Star Wars stuff. It's a bit of a mixture. There's some newer stuff in here, but there's also a few vintage pieces. Apparently, like, her husband passed on his vintage stuff to their children, and then they bought more stuff. So that's why there's a few stray vintage bits in here, which makes sense. Most of it looks in pretty nice condition. There's a lot of bits in here, a lot of accessories. So hopefully a fair chunk of this stuff is fairly complete. So let's get on in and show you what we've got. There's a big item here which is sort of irrelevant, but it was with it, so I'm going to show it. We've got the Darth Vader telephone. This is the Darth Vader landline telephone. This came in the bundle. I believe this came out of Revenge of the Sith era. I remember seeing this. This was like an Argos catalogue staple. I don't know anyone that actually ever owned it, but Darth Vader landline telephone. It looks like there might be a bit of battery seepage, so hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully we can clean it up and he's in fairly good order. As long as it's working, it doesn't matter. There's a little bit of corrosion, but hopefully it'll clean up quite nicely. Hopefully it's not too bad. So Darth Vader telephone. He was in the bundle regardless, whether you like it or not. So that's that. Let's get into some of the big stuff. So we've got an ATST. I think the roof is in here. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm sure we'll find it. This is the Power of the Force version, or possibly even a later iteration. 1995. So yeah, this is the Power of the Force one. It's more or less identical to the vintage one, just a little bit different deco on it. The stickers are a bit different. The original one famously is sort of beige. So there he is, the Scout Walker. It's in quite nice condition. Hopefully all the bits are in here. There's not much missing from that one. It's just the roof, which is there. So there is the roof for it. Just a little gun which goes on the front. So hopefully that's in here, and then that one is fully complete. That would be quite nice if it is. Next up, we've got one of the Jedi Starfighters. I would assume this is from Revenge of the Sith, but I'm not certain. I don't know whose that is. I'm not too clued up on episode 3 onwards, more or less. But it's a blue one with a gold astromech droid in there. So there's that. It looks in quite nice condition. Again, it doesn't look like there's anything missing on it. I don't know if there's supposed to be any projectiles or anything, but that looks in quite nice condition as it is. Next up, we have got some Star Wars Tactics figures. It was a game. There was Transformers ones, there were Star Wars ones, might have been G.I. Joe as well, made by Hasbro. And yeah, it was like a tabletop game, but they were sort of action figures. They've got, they're on base, but they've got actions. They fired missiles, they launched things, and it's a tabletop game where they move along and they click. I had a few of these. I feel like everyone had a few of these back in the day, but I don't think a single person ever learnt how to play the game, or even probably knew that it was a game. But some Tactics. So the big Wampa and a Chewbacca. These are not that sought after these days. Might be one or two oddballs out there that collect them, but I don't think there's much demand for them in general. I'm going to try and get some of the bigger stuff out of the way. There's a couple more Tactics here. We've got Darth Vader. As you can see, he's got lift up action. We've got a heavy Stormtrooper with a big old cannon there. Most of them just fired guns, like that. Is he going to do it? Yes, that's fired off somewhere. Han Solo in his Hoth gear. I think that's all of the Tactics. There might be, oh no, there's a few more. Very likely a Hoth set in here, I would imagine. There's Luke in his Hoth gear. They did some, like, a bit like the Hasbro Heroes, they did some like big box sets with those, with like a big thing in the middle and then loads of little figures. It's probably a Hoth themed box set, I would imagine. Let's get into some of the figures and then we'll get onto some of the micro stuff. There's a lot of Action Fleet bits in here. So start off quite nicely here. This is a Power of the Force 2 Boba Fett from the 90s. It's quite a cool figure, quite an iconic figure. The deluxe one, it would have a big backpack, which I don't think is like a big silly launcher thing. There he is, the Power of the Force one. There's a real mixture of eras of figures here, because there's quite a lot of Power of the Force stuff, and there's some older, then there's some newer. Emperor Palpatine. Yet another Power of the Force figure. We got the Spy with his big cock nose. I'm sure he's got a specific name. No idea what it is. What else have we got here? There is a Power of the Force 2 Hoth Luke. It's quite beefy figures. People always critique these for being beefy and bulky, but some of the later Power of the Force 2 figures are pretty nice. Some of them are still like deemed as like the better modern figures for certain characters. Obviously this one isn't, because it's not a very good figure, but some of them are. Some of them aren't too bad. They get slagged off. What I'm trying to say is that some of them aren't, they're not all that bad. We've got a TIE Fighter with being piloted by a Raider. Yeah, and this has got the wings. This is a Power of the Force 2 vehicle. And yeah, it's in quite nice condition. It's got both of the wings. So that's all here. That Power of the Force 2 TIE Fighter. That's quite nice. That's a nice find. Like a lot of the Power of the Force 2 vehicles, these use the same molds, the same castings, sculpts, whatever you want to say, as the vintage items. So compared to a vintage one, it's more or less the same item, albeit slightly different, for a much cheaper price. So these Power of the Force 2 vehicles, some of them are quite... It's going to fall apart again, isn't it? Some of them are quite in demand. Yeah, they're falling everywhere. It's fine. Nothing's broken. It's all good. Let's get onto some Action Fleet stuff, because there's quite a bit of it in here. So we've got quite a few of the little play sets, the little headsets. There's the Vader one that opens up into the throne room. There's that. If these don't have the figures, they're pretty hard to move, but we've got a whole tub of figures, so stay tuned for that, because there's quite a few of them. We've got R2-D2 cracks open into, it looks like Jabba's Palace. Yeah, Jabba's Palace and the Rancor pit. So that's pretty smart. I don't know what's supposed to go with these. I'm going to have to look it up, but I'm hoping most of the bits will be in there. Quite nice if they are. We've got 3PO. Opens into the Mos Eisley Cantina. Let's say no figures in there, but they're all in the pot. And then we've got some vehicles, which, as everybody knows, come on these little stands, these little flight stands. Which one goes with which is another matter. But there's an X-Wing. Looks in quite nice condition. Most of these come with like 1 or 2 figures. That one's got an R2 in it, so I'm sure there's a pilot figure somewhere for that one. Is that Darth Vader's TIE Fighter? I'm pretty sure it is. Or it might be a TIE Advanced, or I'm not too clued up on them, but there's a TIE Fighter. Pretty sure that's Darth Vader's. Maybe wrong. And we've got the shuttle, the Imperial Shuttle, which also has its stand there. And that's got a little Darth Vader figure sitting inside it. It's quite nice. See these often. You do see these often, the little Action Fleet vehicles, but they're very rarely complete, and for that matter, they're very, very rarely in good condition. I find them at the car boot all the time, and there's always bits missing. So to get them sort of complete is quite nice. And then we've got an AT-AT there, which also comes with its own little base. So that's pretty cool. Little AT-AT. Is there anyone inside it? Opened it up, full of bloody Star Wars figures. And it's got the AT-AT driver in there, so yeah, a little Action Fleet AT-AT. And now I think we're more or less down to the figures. There's a dish there for a Millennium Falcon. Still got this hay fever hanging around. The cough is hanging around this year. It's getting better, but yeah, there you go. There's a Millennium Falcon dish. Doesn't look like there's a Millennium Falcon in here for it though. And more or less into just the figures now, aren't we? So let's slide it all to the side and then we'll go through it fairly quickly. We've got a modern Darth Vader with a removable mask. And it looks like the mask is in here. That's pretty nice. I'm not sure which one specifically that is. 2005, so probably a Revenge of the Sith one. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi and his Clone Wars gear there. Is that Obi-Wan Kenobi? I'm pretty sure that is. From the animated series. Another clone. I don't know all their names individually. People do, obviously. Some of these are quite sought after, but I don't know all the names. But there's a clone, a purple one. For all I know, it could be a £30 figure. It probably isn't, but it could be. We've got a bit of vintage stuff, which we'll get to in a minute. There's a Power of the Force 2 Lando in his skiff gear. Doesn't look like there's many accessories for the figures, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a shame, but it's not the end of the world. We have got the Power of the Force 2 speeder bike with its pop-in action. This is cool, and yeah, fully complete with the biker scout there. So that's okay. That's a nice little set. That's pretty cool. I had one of these back in the day. Lovely little toy. I also had the Luke one, which I have very fond memories of. There's Lando's helmet there. There we go. An R2-D2. I think this is a Power of the Force one. Spinny with the sensor scope popping up. So, a Lego clone, a Lego Stormtrooper. No, it is a clone. A Lego clone helmet. Probably an older one, that, I would imagine. Could be a sought after part. Probably is. General Kenobi head. That very likely goes with that figure. Does it? Yeah. It probably did. It might come with that head as well. It might be a swappable part. But I'm sure that's the one that sort of actually goes on it. Anakin's Ghost. Hayden Christensen 1. It's quite a nice little figure. I don't know what range that comes from. It's a much newer one compared to sort of some of the other stuff in here. But I don't know where that one's from. Which specific range. Oh, and that'll tell us. There you go. It's the 30th anniversary collection because it's got the little coin with him. Anakin Skywalker Jedi Spirit. There's the coin. We've got some vintage bits in this. I'm going to go through these quite quickly. About 8 vintage figures. That's quite nice. Quite a nice little find in a lot like this. Gamorrean Guard. Sounded like there was something rattling. He's got his horns broken off. But he's in quite nice shape. Other than that. A Chewie. A Chewbacca. There he is. A little bit of green on his limbs. A much debated topic in the vintage Star Wars circles. Oh, is green limb Chewie a variant? Or is it degradation? Probably either. I don't know. Very argued all the time. But there's a vintage Chewie. In moderately nice condition. I always seem to find Chewbaccas in pretty good nick. They always seem to be when I get them. Got an AT-AT driver. A little bit yellowed. Not in bad condition. Random projectile. That goes with Skiff Lando, so he's fairly complete. There he is. We've got the Tusken Raider. This was the TIE Fighter pilot Tusken Raider. Not the hollow tube one, unfortunately. A little variant to look out for. Sometimes they've got a little dimple in the end of the cheeks. Quite a sought after variation. This one isn't though. Pretty standard. But nonetheless, one of the first 12. A nice find. We've got a Vader. Darth Vader. Very, very dusty cloak. It looks like it's been repaired at some point. No lightsaber. Pretty tatty cloak. But it does have the cloak, so it's better than not having it, surely. Some Ewoks. Got Logray, the Medicine Man. We've got Chief Chirper. And then we've got Wicket, which I'm surprised Wicket brings moderately good money these days. Even without the staff, Wicket goes for pretty reasonable, like £15-20. I can see why with the staff it would be sought after, because it's the same staff as Romba. pretty rare figure. But just, yeah, even without the staff wicket, it brings like £15–20 with the hood. So nice little find. This is one of the things I saw in here that I was like, yeah, that's worth grabbing it for. It's a nice little bit to have this. This is Paploo's headscarf. This is one of the last 17 figures. Quite nice shape. That's just a handy bit to have. The figure isn't in here, unfortunately. But yeah, that's Paploo's headscarf. That's a bit I'll put in my spares box. And it'll come in handy at some point. So there's that. I've got a 3PO. The removable limbs one. This is Return of the Jedi. Removable limbs. C-3PO. Or is it Empire Strikes Back? I feel like this is a Return of the Jedi figure. Even though it's sort of based on Empire Strikes Back. It's in fairly good condition. Yeah, another one. That used to be such a cheap figure. But like, if you want a vintage C-3PO, this is the only... The older version, the solid limbs one, is so expensive. If you want one, that's really the best one to get. So the price on this one's creeped up quite a bit, especially compared to years ago when you could still get new old stock baggied ones for like a tenner. Like not even that long ago, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But yeah, removable limbs 3PO. Nice little find. The chrome's pretty good on that. And we got the Wookiee braids and the thing. That's for the Boba Fett figure, wherever he's gone. Where is he? There he is. Maybe in the deluxe, or maybe you should just have a backpack. Some bits. Yeah, is that it? No, maybe not. Some bits and bobs. A stray Klingon bird of prey micro machine. Don't know anything about Star Trek, but I do know what that is. We've got R2-D2's third leg and a lightsaber there. It's not much left. 2 stray top trump cards for Wedge Antilles and 9 Num. So if you know, you could play top. To be fair, if you had 2 people, you could play top trumps with just those 2 cards. A thing in a bag. Ah, that's the phone cable for the Darth Vader phone. That's what that is. It's handy to have. And then what we're left with is just a little pot of bits and bobs. So this is all, and some hair. There's some hair in there as well. So hopefully these make up those sets and make them all fairly complete. I'd like to think they will, because it looks like there's quite a bit in here. So yeah, I've got the little tiny micro vehicles. Y-Wing there, the sail skiff. Is it the Katana, is that what that's called? We've got the Rancor, and yeah, all just the little micro tiny figures that go with those sets. So hopefully they're all fairly there. It'd be nice if they are. I mean, the Star Wars Micro Machines and Action Fleet, really, they're quite easy to find new and sealed, and they're not that expensive. But finding them in like used condition with all the bits is quite exciting, because they just usually aren't like that. And there he is. There's 9 Num. There's 9 Num again. So yeah, that's all that. Hopefully there'll be some stuff there that's fairly complete. Hopefully that was a fairly interesting video, albeit a short one. Yeah, that was what's in the box. That was the Sandwich Van Star Wars Deluxe. So hopefully that was a good video for you. Thank you for watching. We've got more videos coming soon. Stay tuned. I'm on a roll at the moment. I'm getting videos up quite regularly. I'm on the YouTube hype. So leave a comment, leave a like, whatever you want to do. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.